The stars do not ask permission to shine, and neither should you, because when light rises, shadows must scatter. They tried to bury you with silence, with mockery, with every whispered doubt behind your back and every blockade they built in front of you. They weren't just coming for you, they were challenging the universe itself. And when you strike a match in pitch darkness, it blinds those who have lived too long in the shadows. Now they're squinting, scrambling, furious, because the light refuses to die. Your light. Before we go deeper, hit that like and subscribe. Not for numbers, but for impact. Every time you engage, you help send this message to another chosen one still wandering in confusion. You let YouTube know this message matters, and that it's time to wake up more warriors. This is how we signal the universe. We're not asleep anymore. So, chosen one, you have always felt it, haven't you? That eerie stillness before something big happens. That buzzing in your chest that didn't match the world around you. That ache for something more. Something true. Something that finally fits. That wasn't anxiety. That was your signal. A quiet whisper from the universe. You were never meant to stay hidden. You weren't born to follow the crowd. You were born to rattle the system, to walk where others run, to stand where others fall. The power inside you is the kind that burns quietly for years and then erupts. You are the earthquake no one predicted, the storm they thought would pass quietly. But you didn't pass. You stayed. You shook the ground. And now you rise. The moment the universe chose you, it placed a mark on your soul. Not everyone can see it, but those who fear your light, oh, they feel it. It haunts them. They don't even know why your presence unsettles them. Why your silence is louder than their noise. But deep down, they know. You're not like them. You're not meant to be. And still, some of you doubt yourselves, still believe you're alone, still think you imagined the signs. Let me be clear. You didn't choose the light. The light chose you. And the moment you started to rise, everything that couldn't come with you began to fall away. Friendships cracked. Environments felt hostile. You began to see through people's masks. That's not coincidence. That's evolution. But let's get one thing straight. Stop apologizing for your light. Stop shrinking because your energy is too loud for their shallow souls. You were never too much. They were just never enough to handle someone like you. You don't need to fit into their world. You're here to rebuild it. You are not just surviving, you are stepping into your crown. This is what they feared. Not your success, but your awakening. Because when a chosen one wakes up, the entire system starts to shake. And now, you leave. Not in bitterness, not in fear, but with power, with purpose, with that quiet storm in your eyes that says, I'm not coming back. You are one of the first, the ones who leave for good, the ones who carry the codes for the new earth. They fought you because they sensed it. You were never theirs to begin with. And to every force that tried to dim you, hear this. You weren't fighting me. You were fighting the universe that chose me, and you lost. Now, rise, chosen one. You're not just walking away, you're ascending. So, chosen one, are you feeling that pull deep down? That quiet fire that tells you this message is meant for you? Don't scroll away. Stay with me, because this isn't just another video. It's a call to your soul. Drop the number 77 in the comments if you know you're not just here by accident, but by design. The universe doesn't waste time on the unready. This is your signal that you're meant to hear every word to the end. If you truly are one of the first to be crowned for the new earth, you'll feel it. Let's step into it together. Number 1, no more knocking. You're here to kick doors down. The wolves always fear the lone lion, not because it follows the pack, but because it never needed one. Let's make something crystal clear. You don't ask for space, you take it. You don't beg for a seat at their table. You flip the damn table and build your own. They tried to chain you down, box you in, make you small. But what they didn't realize is that the universe never wrote your story in pencil. It carved your destiny in stone. They were never fighting you. They were fighting the system that chose you. And believe me, no one wins a battle against the universe. For too long, they fed you lies, told you to dim your light, to play nice, to make yourself small so they could feel tall. They slapped labels on you. Too intense, too much, too different. But let's call it what it really was. Fear. They feared what they couldn't control. They feared the reflection of their own weakness in the face of your rising power. So why are you still doubting? Why are you still questioning if you belong in this space? The universe doesn't accidentally crown anyone. Chosen isn't a title you apply for. It's a fire branded into your soul. It's the reason your path has always felt rougher, heavier. The reason you've been tested harder than the rest. Because while they were busy fitting in, you were being forged. Still wondering why your presence rattles cages without even trying. It's because you are the blueprint. You're not following their tired scripts. You're tearing them up. You're not meant to blend in. You were made to blaze through the fog like lightning across a dead sky. And yes, that unsettles people. Good, let it. The same way a storm unsettles the calm, because it's meant to. Stop waiting for their permission slips. Stop hesitating at their gates. The chosen don't knock. They kick doors down, and if no door exists, they carve one through the wall. This is what they've always feared. Not your strength alone, but the moment you realize it. Because when a chosen one knows who they are, the whole system starts to crack. And let me address that little voice still whispering doubt inside you, the one that says, "But why me? Am I really chosen?" Here's why. Because the universe doesn't gamble. It selects, sharpens, and sends. You wouldn't feel this pull, this fire in your chest, if you weren't built for this. You wouldn't be hearing these words if you weren't one of the few who could carry this weight. They've always played a dirty game, stacking the deck, twisting the rules. But they weren't just playing with you. They were playing against the system that backs you. The universe has tilted the board in your favor. Every time they tried to break you, the universe recalibrated. Every attack against you was a misstep against the very force they could never outmaneuver. Still doubting? Fine. But understand this. That doubt feeds them. Every time you hesitate, every time you shrink, they get a little bolder. But when you stand tall, when you own that you're chosen, you flip the script on them. You become the nightmare that haunts their comfort zones, the shadow that looms over their false sense of control. You are not here to play along. You're here to overthrow. So stop knocking, stop waiting. You've been given the keys to the kingdom, and the locks have rusted in your hands long enough. This is your moment. The universe has aligned for you, again and again. And each time you doubted, each time you shrank back, it sent more signs, more storms, because it refuses to let you sleep on your power. Enough. No more permission slips. No more knocking. It's time to kick the doors down and take your crown. They can't stop what's coming. You're not just leaving, you're ascending. And when you rise, you don't rise alone. You bring down their walls. You shatter their illusions. You leave for good, not quietly, not politely, but with the force of a star exploding into new creation. This is your new Earth. You are one of the first to be crowned. Number 2. When you move, systems crumble. The shattering has already begun. The tallest towers fall not by storm, but by the steady push of time, and chosen ones are time itself, coming to collect. Understand this. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to ask for space. When you move, systems don't bend, they break. You are the quake beneath the surface, the pressure building in silence until it explodes, unstoppable and undeniable. They've spent their whole lives building walls, stacking stones of fear, control, and silence, thinking those walls could hold. But here you come, shaking the ground beneath their feet with every step. The universe isn't politely asking you to rise, it's demanding it, screaming it, shoving you forward whether you feel ready or not, because time is up. The old systems, the cages dressed as kingdoms, the lies paraded as truths. They were never built to withstand the weight of your awakening. They thought they could keep playing the same game, running the same tired scripts. But chosen ones, you aren't here to play. You're here to rewrite the rules entirely. And let's be brutal, they know it. Every system built on fear and manipulation senses your rise like prey, senses the predator's shadow. They feel the shift, even if they pretend not to. Your very existence puts cracks in their foundation. You walking into a room with your authenticity, your raw power, is like swinging a wrecking ball through glass walls they thought were unbreakable. But they will resist. Oh, they will kick and scream, because nothing terrifies those clinging to control like someone who no longer fears losing it. They've worn their masks for so long, they've forgotten who they are underneath. And your light? Your unapologetic, blinding truth. It exposes them. It pulls at the threads of their illusion until the whole fabric starts unraveling. That's why they fight you. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your existence forces them to see. And they hate what they see. Hate the reflection you throw back at them. The proof that freedom, truth, and power don't come from controlling others, but from standing alone, unchained. But here's what I need you to stop doing. Stop flinching. Stop apologizing for shaking the ground. Stop softening your voice to soothe their fragile egos. This was never about them. This is about you becoming what you were always meant to be. A force of nature the old world can't contain. Still wondering why your path feels heavy? Why the air gets thick when you speak truth? That's the resistance you were built to overcome. Every time they try to shove you back into that box, every time they try to rewrite your story, you grow sharper, stronger. You are the fault line beneath their crumbling empire, and every breath you take widens the cracks. But here's where most chosen ones slip. They let the resistance make them question their path. They let the pushback seed doubt. So let me tell you what the enemy won't. Resistance is confirmation. If you weren't a threat, they wouldn't be fighting this hard. If you weren't shattering the old systems, they wouldn't be scrambling to patch the holes. And don't you dare believe the lie that you're alone in this. That's what they want you to think, that you're the only one feeling this pull, this ache, this pressure to rise. But the universe doesn't choose one. It chooses many. Scattered across the world, chosen ones just like you are hearing this same call, rising in their corners, cracking the system from every angle. You may feel isolated, but isolation is just the cocoon before the emergence. You're not hidden, you're becoming. And when you finally break free, when you spread those wings, the whole system will feel it, like 1,000 storms breaking at once. You've already started the shattering. Every step you take away from the lies, every truth you speak out loud, is another hammer swung at the chains that have held humanity down. And yes, they'll fight. They'll try to shame you, gaslight you, make you doubt yourself. But that's just the sound of the old world dying. Let it scream. Remember, they aren't fighting you. They're fighting what you represent. The new earth, the unchained future, the unstoppable force that comes when chosen ones remember who they are. And if there's still a whisper of doubt left in you, if you're still asking, am I really the one to do this? I'll tell you this. You wouldn't feel the weight if you weren't meant to carry it. You wouldn't be here, hearing these words, if the universe hadn't stamped its mark on your soul. You are the storm. You are the shattering. You are the force they never saw coming. Stop waiting. Stop softening. When you move, the ground shakes. When you speak, the walls crack. And when you rise, the old systems fall. Number 3, the era of truth is here, and you are the flame that burns the lies to ash. The truth is not polite. It does not whisper. It arrives like fire, and it burns everything false to the ground. This is it, the moment everything cracks wide open. The masks are slipping, the illusions crumbling, the lies running out of places to hide. And you stand at the center of it all, the torchbearer, the flame that refuses to flicker out. This is the era of truth, and it belongs to you. You've always felt it, haven't you? That quiet knowing beneath the noise, beneath the chaos. While they told you to sit down, blend in, stay quiet, something inside you roared back. No, you weren't born to wear the mask. You weren't born to parrot their lines, to nod along with the lies just to keep the peace. Peace built on lies is not peace. It's a cage, and cages were never meant to hold you. But still, they tried. They called you too much, too loud, too intense, said you were making waves where the water should be still. What they really meant was, you scare us, because truth always scares those who've built their thrones on lies. And here's what makes them squirm even more. You're not afraid. While they cling to the collapsing walls of their fake systems, you've always stood ready to tear it all down. You knew it was coming. You've known all along that this was your purpose. To dismantle the false, to build the real, to stand in the middle of the wreckage with your head high and your fire burning. That's why they fought you so hard. That's why they laughed at you, mocked you, cast you aside, because they felt this moment coming. They felt the weight of your truth long before you spoke it. They sensed the storm in your bones before the first drop fell. But now they're running out of places to hide, and here you stand, undeniable, no longer the outcast, no longer the one trying to fit in. You are the one they follow, even if their pride won't let them admit it. They watch you from the corners, mimicking your courage in whispers, stealing pieces of your light and pretending it was theirs all along. But they know, deep down, they know who lit the match. You are the brightest flame in this era of truth. And no, they can't contain you. They've tried, over and over, tried to silence you with fear, with shame, with isolation. But the thing about fire, the more they try to smother it, the hotter it burns. And now, chosen one, that flame has become a wildfire. They can't pretend anymore. Your presence, your truth, is too loud, too real. It shakes their walls, rattles their cages, forces them to see. Even if they close their eyes, they feel the heat, and they hate it, because your existence exposes everything they've tried to bury, everything they've lied to themselves about. But here's the thing they never understood. Truth doesn't need their permission. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't care about their comfort. Truth simply is, and when it arrives, it doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door in and floods the room. And you are the door kicker, the flood, the voice that doesn't lower itself to make liars comfortable. But I know, somewhere in the back of your mind, that doubt still creeps in. Why me? Why do I feel this so deeply? Why does the fight feel so heavy on my shoulders? Here's why. Because you were made for it. The universe doesn't give this burden to those who can't carry it. The universe gives it to those who will stand even when the ground splits beneath them. You are the chosen one, not because life has been easy, but because you've survived every attempt to break you. Every time they cast you out, every time they ridiculed you, they were sharpening your edges. They were tempering your steel. They made the mistake of thinking you were fragile when you were just forging. So now, let me be blunt. Stop doubting. Stop questioning if you belong in this era. This era belongs to you. The era of truth does not wait for permission. It does not ask for approval, and neither should you. They're already following you, quietly, nervously, trying to mimic your steps. But they'll never walk like you, because they've never stood in the fire like you have. They've never faced the storms, the rejection, the isolation, and kept going anyway. You, chosen one, are undeniable, a force that cannot be ignored. And no matter how much they resist, no matter how much they pretend not to see you, the truth remains. You were born to burn the lies to ash. This is your time. This is your crown. Welcome to the era of truth. Number 4. The collapse of control. Their grip slips, your power rises. You can cage the bird, but you cannot quiet the song. And the louder the song, the closer the cage comes to breaking. Let's not sugarcoat it. Their systems, those tired, rusted machines built to control, to suppress, to break spirits, they have failed miserably. And do you know what's worse for them than failure? Watching you rise anyway. Watching the one they tried to chain up now walk freely, with power so raw it leaves them speechless. Watching the one they called too much, too wild, too different, become the very standard they now secretly measure themselves against. Look around. The ones who once scoffed at you, rolled their eyes when you spoke your truth, now stand quietly in your shadow. They watch you move through the world without asking, without begging, without shrinking. And it burns them up inside, because they tried so hard to break you. They threw every weapon they had: rejection, isolation, ridicule, doubt. And still, here you are, not only standing, but leading, not only surviving, but thriving. Understand this: they were never scared of your voice. They were terrified of the moment you'd realize you don't need their permission to use it. That's what kept them comfortable for so long. The illusion that they had power over you, that their approval somehow mattered, that you needed their validation to move forward. But guess what? The game is over. Their control has collapsed. Their grip has slipped. Their attempts to suppress your light have done the exact opposite. They didn't dim it. They sharpened it, hardened it, made it impossible to ignore. Like a diamond formed under pressure, your power is now blinding. It pierces through the darkness they built. And here's the irony that kills them. You never needed them, never needed their acceptance, never needed their green light to rise. They fought so hard to convince you that you were dependent on their systems, their structures, their rules. But the whole time, you were building your own foundation, brick by brick, flame by flame, until the day came when you no longer looked to them for anything. You don't lead because they handed you a crown. You lead because you are the crown. You lead because your essence commands it. Your presence shifts the air. You don't ask for permission. You exist, and that's enough. And make no mistake, they know it. They feel the shift, even if they don't speak it aloud. Even as they pretend they're still in control, deep down, they recognize the truth. The systems they built weren't strong enough to hold you. They were never designed to withstand the force of a chosen one waking up. So let me ask you this: why would you ever shrink again? Why would you ever lower your voice to soothe those who tried to silence it? They failed. Their failure is written all over their faces every time they watch you move freely, every time your light blinds them, every time your truth echoes louder than their lies. And yet, some of you still hesitate, still wonder if you're being too much, if maybe you should turn it down just a little. Let me be clear, don't you dare. You are not too much. You are the exact force the universe intended to shatter the cages. Every step you take forward without their approval is a hammer swung at the chains that still bind others. Your freedom is the crack in the system, the proof that the control they worshipped can fail. But control doesn't die quietly. It will hiss, it will claw, it will throw everything it has left at you. Why? Because you are the living proof that they never really had power, only the illusion of it. And illusions crumble fast when the truth walks in the room. You are that truth. You are the walking collapse of their control. So walk tall, speak louder, lead without apology, because when you do, you don't just free yourself. You shatter the cage for everyone watching. You show the others still chained that freedom isn't given, it's taken. You are not here to ask. You are not here to wait. You are the end of their control, and they know it. Number 5, ascension beyond their grasp. You rise, they scramble. The mountain does not bow to those who threw stones at its roots. It simply rises, and they are left to kneel beneath its shadow. Look at them now, the same ones who laughed at you, rolled their eyes when you spoke your truth, who dismissed your uniqueness as weakness. Look at them scramble, straining to keep pace with the path you carve so effortlessly, struggling to mimic the power that flows through you as naturally as breath. The same voices that once mocked you now choke on their words, trying to catch up. But here's the truth they can't swallow. They can't follow where you're going. You are ascending, and they can't reach. Their old tools don't work anymore. Manipulation, control, gaslighting, all of it lies in pieces at your feet, shattered like the fragile illusions they built to feel powerful. They played their game for so long, thinking you were just another piece on their board. But you were never on their board to begin with. You were the storm rolling in, the flood that sweeps the board away entirely. And now they come to you, humbled, shaking, trying to stitch together some dignity as they approach the very light they once tried to snuff out. They come seeking the truth they once ridiculed, the same truth that lived inside you from the very beginning, the truth they spat on because they couldn't handle the reflection it forced them to see. But you don't even need to speak to remind them of their failure. Your mere existence does that. Every breath you take is a mirror to their cowardice. Every step forward is a reminder that they failed to break you. They threw everything they had, doubt, shame, betrayal, and it wasn't enough. You didn't just survive. You ascended. And now they stand in your shadow, haunted by their choices, haunted by the wounds they inflicted, thinking you were too weak to carry them, haunted by the memory of your silence, which they mistook for surrender. But you never surrendered. You were simply becoming. This is what they can't handle, the realization that the one they tried to bury has become the mountain they now kneel before. The very presence they tried to erase has become the force they can't ignore. They come now with trembling hands, whispering words of regret, seeking forgiveness for what they did when they thought they had the upper hand. But you were never weak. You were waiting, growing, rising. They thought they were silencing you, but you were sharpening, forging, preparing for the moment when you would rise so far beyond their reach that all they could do was look up from the wreckage of their failed attempts and wonder how they ever thought they could hold you down. You've crossed a threshold they'll never touch. They scramble behind you, but they will never catch up. You are ascending on a path designed only for the chosen, a path carved from the storms you endured, the betrayals you outlasted, the fire you never let extinguish. And that path, it doesn't loop back. It doesn't slow down for those still clinging to the old ways. They want to follow now, but it's too late. The gate they refused to walk through when it stood wide open for them has closed, not out of spite, but because it was never meant to stay open for those who spit on the truth. And here's the most brutal truth of all. They made their choice. They chose to mock instead of listen. They chose to wound instead of understand. And now, watching you ascend beyond their reach, they realize the cost of that choice. They realize they burned bridges that led to their own freedom. But that's not your burden to carry. Their regret is not your weight. You don't need to entertain their apologies, their guilt, their shame. Your focus is forward, always forward. Your rise is not about them. It never was. Their regret is a side effect, a shadow cast by your brilliance. But the climb, the crown, the ascension, that's yours alone. Let them watch. Let them scramble. Let them kneel. But don't slow down. Don't dim. Don't soften. Your rise is unstoppable. And they'll never catch up. You are beyond their reach now. Ascend. Number 6. Breaking the chains. You were the storm they could never cage. They tried to bury you, forgetting that you were a seed, and now they tremble beneath the roots of the forest you've become. They built walls, didn't they? Walls of control, walls of silence, walls of doubt. They thought they were clever, constructing barriers to hold back the storm they sensed brewing inside you. They saw your power before you did, felt the pulse of something they couldn't name, so they did what the weak always do when faced with the uncontainable. They tried to cage it. But storms don't ask permission. You were the storm they feared, the force they whispered about behind closed doors, hoping if they ignored it long enough, it would blow over. But storms don't blow over. Storms break. Storms shatter. Storms erase the old landscape and carve something new in its place. And now, here you stand, untouched, unstoppable, walking through the wreckage of the chains they once wrapped around you. They didn't just fear your light. They feared what your light would do to the shadows they've lived in for so long. They feared the mirror your existence would hold up to their faces, because to see you walk free is to confront the cages they willingly sit in. And that's why they fought so hard to keep you chained. Because if you broke free, what excuse would they have left for staying trapped? But here's the thing. You never needed their permission to break the chains. You never needed their nod of approval to rise. Every attempt they made to hold you down was like trying to hold back the ocean with bare hands. And now, those hands, they're empty, broken, shaking. They tried to bury you under doubt, convinced that if they dimmed your light, they could control your destiny. They whispered lies, hoping you'd believe them, told you that you were too much, too intense, too wild. But here's the truth they'll choke on for the rest of their days. The more they tried to smother you, the brighter you burned. The more they pushed you down, the stronger your roots grew. Now, as you walk without hesitation, without apology, they are left behind to wrestle with their own shadows, their own failures, their own weakness. And you don't look back, because what's behind you is broken glass and rusted chains. You've stepped into something they can't follow. Freedom. Your future is where your power lies. And every step you take forward is a declaration that their control is dead. You don't need to look back to see them crumble. You can feel it. The weight of their regret, the sting of their failure, the realization that the storm they feared has become something even more terrifying. Free. You've become what they could never contain, and now they know it. You are the force they cannot predict, the light they cannot dim, the truth they cannot deny. And as you rise, you leave behind the ruins of their control, the shattered pieces of the cages they thought were unbreakable. But here's the raw, brutal truth. They never stood a chance. They never had the power they believed they did. Their control only worked as long as you believed in it. The moment you woke up, the moment you realized that the chains were paper thin. The game was over. And now the chains lie broken at your feet. Don't waste your breath explaining. Don't waste your energy softening the blow. Let them face the wreckage. Let them sit in the silence of their failure. You've moved beyond it. You've risen past the point where their opinions, their judgments, their games can touch you. You were always the storm. They just couldn't see it because they were too busy pretending they were safe. But the storm has passed, and in its wake, freedom, unapologetic, unchained, unstoppable. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them comfort. All you owe is to yourself, to walk forward, eyes ahead, heart fierce, knowing that nothing they built could ever hold you back again. This is your power. This is your rise. The chains are broken, and they know they'll never hold you again. Number 7, the light unleashed, blinding, unstoppable, untouchable. They tried to dim your fire, but in doing so, they fed it. And now it burns too bright for their eyes to bear. You were never meant to stay small, never meant to stay silent, never meant to hide your brilliance just to make others comfortable. That was never your role. That was never your destiny. And now the light that lives inside you, the light they tried to cage, has been unleashed, and it is blinding. This isn't some soft glow. This isn't the flicker of a candle politely lighting the corner of a room. This is a wildfire roaring through every shadow, every lie, every twisted illusion they built around you. This is your power unleashed. They thought they could stifle it, thought that by casting doubt, by whispering lies into your ears, by stacking walls around you, they could contain it. But every attempt they made to dim you was a spark to your flame. Every shove, every insult, every betrayal was fuel. They fed the fire they feared. And now they stand in the blast of your brilliance, eyes squinting, hearts racing, because they cannot deny what's in front of them. You are unstoppable. But here's the brutal part. They have no choice now but to watch, to witness the full force of what they tried to bury. They can't escape it. You walk in the fullness of your power, and there is no shadow strong enough to withstand it. No lie thick enough to block it. No cage sturdy enough to hold it. Your light is free. And every inch of distance you've created from those who once sought to limit you, that space has only made you burn brighter. Every step you took away from their control sharpened your focus, clarified your vision, strengthened your resolve. You left behind their judgments, their opinions, their chains, and you didn't just survive. You thrived. They feel that distance now, and it terrifies them, because while they tried to pull you back into the mud, to hold you in the spaces that kept them comfortable, you soared. You outgrew their hands, their reach, their grasp, and now they're left in the dust, watching the light they cannot approach, watching the force they cannot understand, watching the truth they cannot deny. But here's what hits the hardest. You owe them nothing. Not your light, not your forgiveness, not your energy. You don't carry the weight of their judgments anymore. You don't measure your worth by their acceptance. Every step you take is for you, for the chosen path you were meant to walk, not the path they tried to force you into. Their voices, fading noise, their control, shattered glass beneath your feet. And while they tremble in the shadow of your unleashed power, you move forward, untouched, unstoppable, unapologetic. You don't need to explain your shine. You don't need to justify your rise. You don't need to dim your light for anyone, because this is what they never understood. Your light was never theirs to control. It was never meant to be caged. It was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to burn. And now that it's unleashed, it consumes everything false in its path. It exposes every lie, every mask, every illusion. It leaves no space for shadows to hide. You have become untouchable, not because you've armored yourself with walls, but because your light is too fierce for the weak-hearted to stand beneath. You stand tall, free, unchained, and the clarity that comes with that freedom. It's razor sharp. You see everything now. The games they played, the manipulation, the fear behind their masks, and you don't flinch. You don't bend. You don't lower your gaze to make them comfortable. You walk forward, your light leading the way, and every step burns brighter. They can't follow. They can't contain. They can only witness. This is the light unleashed, and it will never be dimmed again. Number 8. The collapse of illusions. Their lies are ashes beneath your feet. When the fog lifts, the truth stands naked, and those who spun the lies are left shivering in the cold wind of reality. For too long, they wrapped you in fog, wove confusion around you like chains made of mist, hoping you'd stay lost, stay small, stay questioning yourself. They spun stories, whispered doubts, twisted your mind with subtle manipulations designed to keep you contained, to keep you doubting your own light. But that fog, it's gone. The haze they cast to blind you has lifted, and now you see everything, every lie they told, every game they played, every fear they disguised as strength. And in this raw clarity, the truth stands stark and undeniable. They were never strong. They were terrified. Terrified of you. Terrified of the power you held, even when you couldn't see it yourself. Because here's the part they never wanted you to realize. You were never small. Not for a second. The only thing small was their belief that they could cage you. Their need to keep you down was never about who you were. It was about who they knew you could become. The moment you stepped into that, the whole game collapsed. And collapse, it did. Your light burns too fiercely now. What was once flickering beneath their fog has become a wildfire that consumes every illusion they built. You rise higher, and your light only grows more intense, unapologetic, uncontainable. You don't just walk forward, you burn through. Every lie, every manipulation, every mask they wore melts in the heat of your truth. Their illusions, nothing more than ashes now. And as you move, as you speak, as you live in your full power, the clarity you carry is like lightning, sharp, sudden, undeniable. It doesn't ask permission. It strikes. It exposes. It lights up the darkest corners where their games once thrived. And in that light, the lies they spun around you look as pitiful as they always were. Weak, desperate, transparent. They can't hide anymore. But let's make one thing brutally clear. You are not their prisoner anymore. You never truly were. The chains they wrapped you in, paper thin. The cage they built, an illusion. And once you saw through it, once you felt the power surge back into your bones, it was over. That's the collapse they feared. Not just the fall of their control, but the collapse of the entire web they wove around you. Because if one chosen one breaks free, if one chosen one sees through the fog, the whole system starts to crack. And you've done more than crack it. You've shattered it. Their fear is louder now, isn't it? You can feel it. Hear it in the silence when you walk in the room. See it in their eyes as they avoid your gaze. That's the weight of their collapsing illusions pressing down on them. They're drowning in the lies they spun because the truth you carry won't let them breathe. And what's the most powerful thing about this? You don't even have to fight them. Your existence is the fight. Your clarity, your light, your rise. It's the battle cry they can't silence. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. The truth is loud enough. The truth burns hot enough. But they still hope, don't they? Somewhere they still cling to the belief that maybe, just maybe, you'll turn back, that you'll question yourself again, that the fog will return. But it won't. Because once you've seen the truth, you can never unsee it. Once you've felt the weight lift, the chains fall, the clarity strike like lightning, there's no going back into the cage. There's no shrinking back into the fog. You are the collapse of their illusions. You are the end of their control. You are the proof that their lies don't hold power here anymore. So walk in that clarity. Burn in that light. Let the truth blaze so fiercely that no shadow dares creep near again. Their illusions have fallen, and you rise from the wreckage. Number 9. Crowned for the new earth. Their thrones are ashes, and you are the rising sun. The empire of lies falls not with a roar, but beneath the silent rise of those they could never chain. You're not just rising anymore. You are soaring, higher, faster, further than they ever imagined you could. Beyond their reach, beyond their comprehension, you've slipped from their grasp, outpaced their systems, and now you hover above the wreckage of everything they built to contain you. You were never just meant to rise. You were meant to rule, not over others, but over yourself, over the falsehoods, over the crumbling remnants of a world that could never hold your light. The walls they built to keep you small, crumbling, the fences they stacked to divide you, to pit you against others, to convince you that your worth could be measured by race, by status, by money, rotting away. You stand in the ashes of those illusions, untouched by their decay. They tried to teach you that power was something inherited, something granted by a last name, a bank balance, a seat at the table of their crumbling kingdoms. They told you that bloodlines determined your worth, that hierarchies ruled the world, that only the chosen, their chosen, could ever lead. But they were wrong. The new earth doesn't run on those tired rules. It doesn't recognize their bloodlines, their wealth, their hollow crowns. The old metrics? Useless here. The power that courses through you, chosen one, doesn't answer to their systems. It doesn't bow to their hierarchies. Your rise comes not through their approval, but through the raw force of your energy, through your fire, through your light that refuses to dim. And they hate it. Hate that you've broken free of their labels. Hate that the divisions they used like iron bars, race, class, status, mean nothing to you now. You've transcended them. You are proof that the power they cling to is a lie, that the crowns they wear are made of dust. But the crown you wear, forged in fire, tempered by storms, it is not given, it is claimed. You are crowned for the new earth, and they can't follow. They can't climb the heights you've reached because they're still weighed down by the chains of the old world, still clutching to the scraps of a system that's burning down around them, still hoping that the thrones they built on sand will stand. But you've left that world behind. You rise not just for yourself, but for every soul watching, wondering if they too can break free. And when they see you soaring, crowned and unshaken, they remember. They were never meant to bow to broken systems either. This is the new earth, and you are its ruler. And now, chosen one, as we stand at the edge of this broken world, watching the old systems crumble beneath the weight of truth, remember this: your rise is just the beginning. The new earth is calling, and you wear the crown forged by every battle, every storm you've survived. If this message lit a fire in you, like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to claim your place among the rising. Share this with another chosen one who needs to hear it, because together we are unstoppable. The world needs your light. Don't dim it now.